Hey, what's up guys, this video is going to be a getting started with Bitwig. I'm just going to go over the general topology and how to navigate around the UI and what the heck is going on with that UI. It's so confusing. I've had it for about 2.5 weeks. I'm playing around with it and it's pretty solid, and we're going to get going. So up here, obviously you have your transport controls. This Bitwig button right here enables and disables the audio engine. So you have multiple tabs open. You can have, more than one audio engine running on more than one tab. They have to be separated. You can have multiple projects open, but only one enabled for playback at a time. And yeah, with that being said, your playback, stop, play, pause, and your automation. That's another video. You have your loop, your overdub, your shuffle, and all that. You have your BPM, so I'll just set that to 128. You have your kind of track selection, so you have 1 bar, first bar, da 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 da, and you can go along there, so you can go like 16 and all that, and then you have your time displayed there, and the playhead, that little blue thing, goes to where it's needed, and that's pretty cool. And anywhere in the arrangement, if you double click stop, you go back to 1-1. All right, that's cool. All right, so you have a loop here. So this is your loop section, and this brings us to our info section, which is this little eye thing down here below my name. You can't really see it, but it's an inspector panel, and anything you click on, it inspects it. You can inspect the loop region, you can inspect an instrument, a channel, the master channel. You can name things, you can color things. This is static, and oh yeah, I should mention that I have my display profile as single display large, so this could be different for you, who knows. All right, so this is static, and you can make it go away by doing that, just grabbing it, right? And for anything clickable, be it an instrument or whatever, the inspector panel is there, and you can see things in a defined way. All right, so we're gonna jump over here to our browser. Now this is static as well, not dynamic. You want to go to your configuration and you go add location. You can add locations for your sample, sound content. That'd be like wave files, loops, da 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 da, right? And that could be anything including sound fonts. You can have your music location, so my label and other tracks I sample and all fun MIDI stuff, and your plugin location, which would be my VST plugin folder. This could be different if you're on a Mac or Linux. So once you have all that set up, you'll see at the bottom here, it will index. Obviously, I've already indexed, so it could take a little bit to index all those samples, so Bitwig knows what to do with them. So you go back here, and you have your Bitwig devices, which would be your audio effects, right? Also available when you click this little guy here, right? And then you have your VST effects, or you can have like another folder. Say if you have like a free plugin folder or a development folder, or like plugins you want to try out from KVR, you can put that in their own separate folder, and they're all organized, and it's pretty cool. You have your wave samples. These can be anything in the audio domain, so like one shots and such. So I'll go bass drum, right? You click on it, where's the sound? You have to wait for my hard drive to speed up. As always, you click on it, yep, there you go, and you have sound. If you're not having sound, you might want to click on that little Space Invader icon up there, and you have your sounds there. That's pretty cool. You have your multi-samples, so these would be like sound fonts, or I'm not sure what else they're called. They're multi-samples basically. I have my Zelda ones in here, and they're self-contained sampler instruments from when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Of course, you have all your music, so you have that separated from your main sample folder for live performance or whatever you do with your time. Your clips, so this would be, it will scan your entire library that you have in here, right? And it will have, say, midis, so Benny Hill and all that fun stuff. I have quite a bit of MIDI stuff, and it has all that, so you can use MIDI files as a reference and drag them in. That's cool. Clips. Oh yeah, no, music is music. Clips is MIDI clips, so this is MIDI data. Right, and you have all that there. That's pretty cool. And your files, and this would be like, you can go to anywhere on your computer and grab stuff, right? So with that being said, we're going to go into the 3 views. So instead of 2 views, there's 3, right? And you can get to them down here. So this is the view, right? So this will switch your view. So this would be arrangement, you'll understand. So arrangement to your mix to edit, right? Nothing's in there yet. So let's drag in an audio file. So yeah, we all know I'm a sample guy. So what I want to do is I want to drag in an audio event. So you can drag in audio 2 ways. You can just drag in audio like that, right? That's cool. Let's zoom in. You'll control, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. All right, that works all well. And you have your inspector panel here, and you can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. You can reverse it, and do whatever you want, right? But there's a better way to do that, and this is what I'm really a fan of. You double click and it creates an arranger clip within the arrangement. So think of this as like a mini sequencer. You double click and you have your view down here, and you change your view. So this would be the note editor panel. You have that, your automation editor, your sorry about that, your devices, and your mixer. So these 2 windows right here are dynamic, and you can have different combinations. You can have your edit, and then you can have your mixer down here. You can have your mixer down here and your edit down here, or arrange and all that fun stuff. So let's go to event. So this would be an event. This is how you drag things in, and you drag things in like that. So you have our kick, and we'll drag it in here. And this is our mini little sequencer, and we don't have to create little tiny samples and then copy that over or consolidate. They're all in this audio event or arranger clip, right? So what you do is you can loop it, and then you have your kick loop, and it can go on forever. And it's as easy as, doing that fun stuff. Right, we can loop that beginning part. All right, that's cool. All right. Let's see. We can double click again. We can go to the edit page, and this flips it up. So these 2 windows are very dynamic. We can have our mixer section and our device section. So in theory, we can have our audio effects and have our clip view and our automation all on the same page, right? So it's very robust for that. So let's add, I guess, an effect. We'll go EQ. We'll just EQ that bottom out. And you'll notice that we have a little line here. Might not be able to see it, but that's our automation line. And we can automate within this clip. All right, so let's do something. Let's add some life to it. I'm pressing tab, and that cycles through everything. So I'm going to create a new audio track. Double click there, and I can add a clap. So click on this little button here, and right, cool. So I'll drag that in, and this is offset a bit. I can zoom in if I want, and zoom in here, and offset that. Right, so here's the cool part. So say if I would just want to loop that clap. So what I can do is, it's sensitive to where you drag it, where you drag the actual clip. You can drag it to be longer, and you'll see that down here, super long, and we can drag it down here. When you drag the top corner of a clip, you drag the length of the clip. When you drag the bottom, you'll loop it. So we're going to go bam, like that, right? So instead of going in here and looping, you can just move down here, and you'll notice that there's a little loop signal in the cursor. Hopefully you can see that. You can drag that over, and it loops like that, automagically, right? Right, so let's do some other fun stuff. Let's go to our edit. We'll make it into the same thing here, and we'll go reverb, and I'll have my mix there. So I'm going to select my pencil tool. So this is your kind of editing tool, right? You cycle through these with 1 through 3, 4, 5, right? Right, so you have your cursor, and this is used to like move stuff about. The selector tool used to select things, and you can move things around, right? It's just another way to select things you can draw in. This is for drawing an automation. So I'm going to select my reverb mix here, and I want the second clap to be in reverb. Right, and I drew that in, and it's pretty fun. And that's with the pencil tool automatically smoothed out. I can go back to my, right, select one, and I can move these around, right? And that's how automation kind of works. I can also just grab, I don't need to double click to create an automation. I double click to delete them, but I don't need to double click at all. So I'll double click, and then I'll just take the line, I just click on it. Right, and you can do other fun stuff like that. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my arrange. And we're going to add, I guess, an instrument track. And this is a MIDI track. You can double click and it creates a MIDI track, but you have a piano thing here. That's pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll go to edit the arrange view with our devices view down here. And we'll go polysynth. Right, and then we'll double click on the clip that we want to edit, and it's down here. We can make it big like that if we want it that way, but I prefer to go edit so I can have everything all in one screen. And I'll press 3 to select my pencil tool, and I will select a more musical time signature down here, 16s. Right. Right, so I will select my, go back to my mix, solo that, go back here. Right, and I'll just bring the filter down, bring this up. Right, and that sounds pretty cool. What I want to do is I want to modulate. So I can select an LFO mod. I dragged it in here. So you have to create a container for the LFO to modulate other things, right? It has an LFO here, and that's all well and good. But this works just as fun. So we'll click on this, and we'll move this, right? So you will notice, right, and we have our rate and our depth. Right, so say I want to modulate that, I can just draw that in with our little pencil tool here. Right, super fun. Right, and I can make this bigger just by doing that. All right, cool. Alrighty, let's check this out. Right, I can of course arrange things that way. If you want to move things around, obviously you can't use the pencil tool because that'll just draw things in. Right, you have to use either selecting tool or the, what's it called? Yeah, object selection tool, and you can move things around like that. You want to loop things. There you go. Right. So that's pretty fun. All right, let's do something else here. So say we have like a loop or whatever. All right, that's cool. We have a loop. We'll loop that, or we'll just make it kind of smaller. Traditionally, you'd like edit within here and you drag things around, but you do that now in your event selection or your event window, audio event. So we want to select with the, what's that called? Time selection tool. You'll select that, and then you can just like, oops, what am I doing? Stop it. Yeah. Select time selection, and then you can move things around. Right, so you can do that. Right, you can do that. Let's try something else. Right, so you may be wondering, oh, that's not going to work. We have to go there. Still figuring it out. Give me a break. So we have this guy, and this is pretty fun. So let's go onsets, and this is kind of how warping works. It does a really good job at detecting the onsets. So we might have to add a few there. You just add them by double clicking, and we will zoom in a little bit off. All good. And you just zoom in, and at the top you adjust the onsets, and at the bottom, when you have the stretch mode on, you adjust the onsets, and at the bottom you warp via the bottom when you have stretch enabled, right? So you can stretch things and all that the same way as in Ableton, pretty much. You have mode stretch HD, and repitch. So yeah, so let's go back to our onset button. So these detect the transients, and you can hear them when you select this little speaker guy. Alright, so what we'll do is we will split on onsets, right? And that'll split them. So we'll just get rid of these four guys here. So we have this thing here, and we can literally, right, we'll get rid of that. We can literally just chop things up and copy and paste within this little clip. And we can pitch things up and down. So we can literally stretch. So we'll double click here, a little blue marker. And we'll make that longer. All right, so we have that. And you can do all sorts of fun stuff within this. We can adjust the gain, of course, or the panorama. So we can, what are you doing? Stop it. We have that. Right, and then we can select this all in theory and consolidate it. Or wait, yeah, consolidate. Or something. What am I doing? Yeah, I guess you can consolidate like that. Nope. Anyway, I guess it stays. So let's go. What else? Yeah, you have your onsets, your pitch, gain, event. Yeah. So yeah, basically that is pretty much a basic rundown. I've only been using it for 3 weeks, but it generally has some really good workflow. You know, just a good way to get ideas down. I didn't go into the clip launching window, but that's not what we're here for. So with that, you can shift and select all, and you'll see, okay, which ones aren't looped. This one is, this one, right? And then you can just loop them all, and there you have it. And it's a really cool way to get ideas down. And of course, say, okay, I want to work on this track later, so I'll just go new, and then I open it in another track, in another tab up here, and I engage the audio engine, double click, and I can get a new idea, and then I can mix and match. All right, yeah, I'll be back maybe to redo this in a couple months, but yeah, it's pretty cool, and I hope this got you started well, and have a good one, and take care.